Hi everyone, welcome to the Family Matters Show. I'm Benjamin Bryant and I'm an accredited family law specialist here at Bryant McKinnon Lawyers in Coffs Harbour. Today I'm joined with my business partner and accredited family law specialist Heather McKinnon. My husband recently had an affair. Although the affair is over, I'm not sure what I want to do now. The first part of the question is, we own our own house outright, but neither of us have the money to buy the other out. Does that mean if I divorce him, we will have to sell the house?
This is a really excellent scenario because it's a very common sort of presenting factual situation when we see people.
Absolutely.
So in the stats that we have from sociologists about families in Australia, we know that one of the main presenting factors for the breakdown of relationship is when one party to that marriage repartners. And people always ask me, do marriages survive affairs? They certainly do. It might surprise viewers to know that about half the people that you and I see are still in intact relationships. They're only gathering information. They haven't decided whether or not they're staying or going. And so don't feel funny about going and seeing a lawyer if you're still in the relationship, because it's a very common thing to do. So in this case, the facts that really surround it are heartbreaking ones for many people. That is, you have acquired capital during your lives together, and the stark reality of separation is that that capital has to get halved. And it's one of the scariest things for people when they're looking at whether they stay or go, the financial unknown of, if I take half the capital or whatever I'm entitled to, will I ever get back into the housing market? What I say to people, Ben, is that stats show us that most people who have been in a long-term relationship will, within 3 to 5 years, form another permanent relationship. So in fact what happens is they divide the capital from their first relationship and then they combine it with their next partner. But that doesn't help you at the time when you're going through it, because you think, oh, the world's coming to an end. If I don't stay in this marriage, I'll be homeless. My experience is that's not a good way to assess the quality of your life. I think you're better to go and get some psychological counselling to assess the quality of the relationship, whether you're staying or going, and laying all your fears out so that you can really make a reasoned decision. So that's sort of the way that I approach giving help to clients.
And I think because, for clients and for our viewer, everything's so emotional, everything's up in the air, they're not quite sure what to do, where to turn, and they're receiving advices, no doubt, from the neighbour, from their best friend, from their parents, and no doubt those advices are conflicting. And everyone, of course, has had a best friend who's also been through the family law course. So immediately, you're thinking down that route. And so it's very important that you see someone, in terms of, I think the counselling, recommendations are a great one, but again also the legal advice, so you can have a calm understanding of the matter. Because even though for people that come and see us first in circumstances like this, they're very much focused on the affair and who has done what. But of course, how many times in the Family Law Act does it mention, the behaviour of, a partner, having an affair? Do you know what I mean?
That's right.
None. Do you know what I mean? So it's very important, to touch base with a professional support network as well, to get some calm decisions. And like you said before, is that most people, a lot of people that come and see us, they're actually not separated yet. They're just, feeling the waters, whether they're going to separate, thinking about separation, or whether they have a feeling in their waters that something might be coming. And of course, all the appointments, with lawyers are confidential. So I think it's really important to remember that as well.
And I think what our clients always say after those sessions, it just made me feel so much better. So repeatedly people feed back to us, that knowledge allows them to keep that anxiety under control, because they've got a pathway and a map, and if you're weighing up options, you've got to know what the options are.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I'd mention in relation to this person's query about, the house being the asset,
Yes.
people often haven't even investigated things like superannuation when they come to see us. So it's very important that you get a really good overview of all of the financial matters that could impact on a settlement before you get down in the dumps and think you're going to be homeless.
Yeah, and also with people are separating, if they've decided to separate, one of the important things, and also that a court is looking at if you were going to go to court, would be the severing of the financial ties, the finality of the matter, especially if you have, children in the mix as well. And sometimes it just takes, speaking with others and realising the situations, what you can influence, what you can control and what you cannot control, because it may well be in this circumstance the house does in fact need to be sold. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people, as you know, if they're in the start of it and they're not quite sure how the future's going to look, some people even think, perhaps we can just do tenants in common for the property and just run it like a business relationship. Which of course we know that's not going to work, but so there needs some advices in relation to that. The second part of the question, Heather, is that if this couple decides to sell their house, will the proceeds of the house be divided equally?
That's such a good question, because there is a lot of understanding in the community that there's this starting point of an equal division. In fact, that's not the case in Australia. In Australia, the division of assets at the end of the marriage are determined looking at a whole range of factors, including who made what contributions at the beginning, was there inheritances, is anyone sick and not able to work, are there little kids that still are under 18 that mean that someone can't work as much as the other because of parenting. So we've got every sort of factual scenario you could imagine facing us every day when we advise clients. What I can say is I think you and I see about 600 people a year, and probably 6 of those cases are an equal division case. So the complexities of life mean that it's almost unheard of that you would get an equal division in the average long-term Australian marriage.
Yeah, and equal division of the property of this house, that's what the question specifically asks of the house. But like you said, we don't know what the superannuation entitlements are. We don't know if there's other assets to divide, if there's investment properties or portfolios or whatever the case may be. There could be a variety of things that we need to better inform our answer to this question. And simply there's not enough information, because as you said, the assessment of what is just and equitable or fair in a property settlement depends on a variety of factors. It's quite a complex criteria that you need to go through, and every case is different. Okay, there's nothing in the Family Law Act that determines how the net sale proceeds of a house is going to be divided upon a breakup. Okay, it's not as prescriptive as that. Family law is very discretionary. Okay, so I think it's just a great reminder that this isn't a substitute for legal advice today. What we're doing is just working with our viewers to try and give them enough information to better inform them to move forward. In this particular matter, we can't answer that. We can't say whether the net proceeds will be split equally. We need more information. So just a reminder, guys, that if you want to send us a message for Heather and I to answer on our show, please don't hesitate to email us at familymatters@bryantmckinnon.com.au, or of course you can shoot us a message on Facebook and we'll respond to that.